that it for all the fun on 19C? We got to the end of this before and we forgot something, so I just want to make sure we didn't forget anything before we go on. All right. I don't want to take the 5 minutes to put the chairs on the other side of the table unless somebody really sees a need to. So let's move on to agenda item number 22, future June and August 2014 commission meetings and commission committee assignments. Secretary Walton.
Yeah, I've got a few items I'd like to have the commission consider for the next meeting or two. First one is the Overton CMP. I'd like to be able to provide the commission with a presentation at the June meeting. The draft will be released next week. The comment period will be through July 1. Get a final review at the August commission meeting. Also like to have an update on the NACO wild horse lawsuit. That item was discussed yesterday, and maybe we can provide some clarification on that issue. If it's the commission's desire, we may be able to workshop trapping regulation. Again, we do have a deadline of June 30th this year to get regulations to the LCB in order to make them permanent regulations. Otherwise, it would be a temporary regulation due to the fact that it's next year's a legislative year. So we would essentially have to do that twice. If anything received by LCB after June 30 is implemented only as a temporary regulation, then it would have to go back in order to become a permanent regulation. There's a possibility that we could workshop regulation pertaining to trapping. Similarly, we discussed a regulation pertaining to tanneries. Petition was received, agreed upon. There's some draft language. I'd like to bring that before the commission for a workshop item in June. We'll also be needing the commission to give the final approval for the predator plan at the June meeting. And if it's the commission's desire, we can get an update on Project 25. We had an update last August on that. It was the Coyote project occurring in central Nevada. I know the project proponent on that has offered to come in and provide an update on that work. We'll also be for final approval on the heritage projects, and probably the main item is to set the revised upland game and fur bearer seasons. As far as the committee meetings, I don't know if the commission wants to have needs to have a heritage committee meeting, or if that's already been decided and determined at this meeting. Trapping committee, or possibly the TAC committee. But that's the stuff I have.
We did decide as the Heritage Committee to hold another meeting because we did have a few outstanding issues. We wanted to go over funding one more time after the cabs have had a chance to look at our funding proposals. And then we did have some question on vendor, the 10% over the bid amounts that the vendors are holding on the bids, and that was, we want some clarification on that before we make a final recommendation to the commission for tag vendors for the heritage tags. Anybody else have anything? Commissioner Lane.
Mr. Chairman, a couple of months ago in member presentations, I did talk about the issue of the coyote killing contest, and I wish that the commission would at least look at that issue to see, what we might want to do in that area in terms of possibly prohibiting it, or at least take a look at the issue.
Okay, I'll get together with you between now and the next meeting, and it's an unprotected animal, so I don't know what we have on unprotected animals, so it will take some thought process to even figure out what we can and can't do, and we'll discuss that. The other thing I have is we have on the agenda to discuss the August 8th and 9th meeting in Fallon. And I have a request to move that commission meeting to make sure all of our commissioners can be present from the 8th and 9th to the 15th and 16th of August. I just want to make sure that does not screw up anything that NDOW has planned, or timing of brochures, or any type of business related things that would hinder if we move that meeting to the 15th and 16th in Fallon.
I don't believe it would. We've had some internal discussion. I think we're clear.
Okay, does anybody have any heartburn with that change?
I honestly don't know. My wife has some vacation time during that time.
Okay. All right. It is an action item, and with that discussion and possible action, do we have any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we change our meeting date currently set for August 8th and 9th in Fallon to August 15th and 16th in Fallon.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passed unanimous. Any further discussion on agenda item number 20 before we move on? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to agenda item number 21, public comment period. I'm going to request that we keep the comments directed towards the commission or an issue and not directed towards others in attendance, or let's keep the comments as civil as we can today. I just request that. Any public comment? Dr. Lynn?
You gotta define civil.
I request my written statement be included in the minutes of this meeting and distributed with all the minutes. I would like to address the remarks made by Commissioner McNish yesterday on his Bear Committee report. Yesterday, you accused us, the public, of manipulating the system with the open meeting law to stop your Bear Committee from having a meeting. How arrogant you are when you ignore the law and yet you accuse and blame us, the public, for using the law to stop your committee. You bet you must follow the law. It's amazing you think you are above the law and then blame us, the public, for making you obey the law. Yet you set laws that we, the public, have to abide by. Example, seasons and limits. Yet you think you are above the law and don't have to abide by the open meeting law. Why should we obey the laws you make for us then? You totally forget why you exist in the first place. NRS 241-010 states, all public bodies exist to aid in the conduct of the people's business, openly in a public forum, properly noticed and agendized, so we know what you will be meeting on, so we can attend the meeting if we want to. Obviously, you think you're above the law when you accuse us, the public, of stopping your committee meeting because you and only you did not follow the law. And we, the public, are the bad guys you claimed we were yesterday, and we are manipulating the system. Exactly what you said. Well, you are trying to manipulate the system by going around the open meeting law. You forget, the only reason you exist is for us, the public. You work for us. Obviously, you don't believe this, and that you are above the laws of the state of Nevada, and you can ignore the open meeting law. You don't deserve to be a public servant, and you should resign immediately. Thank you. And I'll give the secretary a copy of my written statement.
Thank you. Who's next? Anybody else have public comment?